guys, Billy Holmes with Holmes Hot Rod and Cycles. I appreciate y'all coming back. Today we're going to work on the 68 C10 again. We're going to roll the truck out of the shop and we're going to start cleaning the firewall in the engine bay. We're going to get the pressure washer, we're going to soak it. We have some engine degreaser that we're going to use. Even though there's no engine in it, it still can be used for the frame and the firewall. We're going to let that soak, spray it off, and see if we can really get this firewall cleaned off. And then for the frame and the cross member, we're going to clean that the best we can on the frame. And then we're not going to worry about the cross member so much because we're going to remove that completely out of the truck and replace a lot of parts on it. But before we do, we're going to go get it media blasted. It's just so many small little crevices and cracks in there that there's no way to really get that clean just sitting there scrubbing it or trying to pressure wash it completely like we want to. So we're going to remove the front cross member and we're going to take that and get it media blasted, and then we'll replace the parts like the spindles, the springs, the shocks, the ball joints, stuff like that. So we don't want to take a whole lot of time with the pressure washer on that. It's just be a waste of time because we're going to be replacing a lot of stuff. So we're going to get this rolled out, get the pressure washer, and y'all stay tuned, check it out. That's why I'm wearing kind of the rough clothes, because we're about to get real dirty, I'm assuming. I appreciate it. Y'all stick around and see what we can do. All right, we got it out of the shop. You can take a little bit better look now that the sun's on it. This is the stuff we're going to be using here. This gunk engine degreaser heavy duty gel. We're not sponsored by it. They don't even know we exist, so we don't have to worry about that, okay? We're going to spray it mostly on the firewall is a lot of the worry. Down there on the bottom, you can see where either the engine or the transmission was leaking pretty good. We're going to spray that down, and then as well as the frame. Not going to worry about that rear cross member back there. We're not going to use it, so we're just going to cut that out. That guy here, we're not going to use that. And then like the front cross member, we will spray it off just a little bit, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. All right, so let's get the spraying. And I did put towels on the inside because there's some exposed holes here, and then that one there. This one's not too bad. There's a box behind it, but this one over here, I did put towels in there. Be smart. I shouldn't have to explain everything, but I'm going to spray this. I like the gel. It seems to cake up more on the panel that you're spraying on. A lot of times the liquid just kind of runs off a little bit. So I do like the gel. Again, like I said, I'm not going to worry about too much of the cross member. We're going to let this soak. I'm going to spray the rest of it off camera, but I'm going to let this soak and come back with a pressure washer. Y'all stay tuned. Running out of gas.
You can figure out what's wrong with this thing. It won't crank up and everything seems to be put together, right? Bill, I'll see you. Okay, stop back by. Don't worry about your boy now. He's doing good. It ain't got no gas in it.
All right, we pressure washed the engine bay and the firewall. It's filthy, still not super clean, so I may give it a one more go. I sprayed that engine gunk on it. Let me see if I can find the, let's see here. I sprayed this stuff on it, engine degreaser, gunk, heavy duty gel. It did pretty well on the frame and the heavy stuff, but it did not do well on the firewall. Didn't get all of it off, but the pressure washer wasn't getting all of it off either. So it may just be the paint starting to kind of flake a little bit and it's getting down on the metal. So I don't know what we're going to do there. I have this heavier duty stuff here outside. Let's take a walk. Let's see here. It's super clean foaming. This does pretty good. I sprayed this on a lot of the heavier equipment. This stuff, there you go. That stuff there. This does pretty well, but I did notice that this takes some of the paint off quite a bit more than that gunk. So I don't really want to try that on the firewall until I'll talk to the customer and see if he's okay with the way it is now, or if we're just going to end up having to paint it black, just like the fender wells. I think it looks a lot better. I'll flip it around and I'll show you right now. This is without scrubbing or anything like that. This is just letting it sit and then spraying it. You can see it's got a lot of the stuff off in here, just not all of it. Down low, you can see there's stuff there, but the paint itself is actually like textured. So it's kind of in the crevice of those, I don't know, it's like sandpaper, like coarse sandpaper. So that might not come off, but the frame did well. We are going to wire wheel the frame anyway, so I just wanted to get to the stuff where the wire wheel really couldn't get to. I did spray the core support, or the front cross member, not the core support, front cross member bolts right in here, just because I'm going to have to take those off, so I didn't want to mess with the grease. So I did spray them a little bit there. You can see here where the shims and stuff are, where I'm going to have to take that that loose to get the cross member out. So I did spray that, but you can tell I didn't mess with like where the ball joints and all that kind of stuff are. We'll blast all of that. I'm not going to try to sit here and get all of that. Did not mess with the transmission cross member, as you see back there, except for where I'm going to have to grind the rivets off. But that is the firewall after that gunk and after one spray of the, or one pass of the pressure washer. I just realized my zipper was down the whole time. Jesus. Hopefully that's not on the video. We'll check it out though. We'll have to go back to the intro and see if see if the old snake's hanging out. Nah, not a snake. Earthworm, maybe. I don't know. All right. We are back with the firewall. I went back off camera after the first initial go around, and I got I basically wet sanded it with some really fine steel wool, about as fine as you can possibly get. Kept it real wet and basically just barely scuffed it, hardly any pressure, just to kind of get that grime off of it. It turned out a lot better, especially right around this area. There was a bunch of grime around this box. It took that off. Okay, you just saw us remove some of the front suspension, getting ready to drop that cross member. I like removing the suspension components like the springs and the spindles with it attached to the frame. It gives me more leverage to hammer on to break those ball joints loose. We are going to be keeping the upper control arms, lower control arms, just removing and replacing the spindle. So I do need to break the ball joints loose to get that stuff out. So I like doing it with it attached to the frame. A lot of people will drop it, the whole thing, wheels, tires, everything. They'll just drop the cross member, roll it out, and then work on it. I don't like hammering and trying to pry on ball joints that may be really seized up with nothing really holding the cross member and it kind of flopping around on the ground. So that's why I like doing it on the frame. It's a good base and it gives you plenty of leverage to tear all that stuff apart. So now that we have the spindle and the springs out, I'll walk you to the other side. We are going to start removing the engine mounts here. You have two. And then as you saw, we removed the shocks already. We just cut the brake lines. We're going to be replacing those, so I'm not worried about it. The last thing is the link here from the steering box. You have to either disconnect it here or here to drop that out, whatever way you want to do it. I'm probably going to drop it here and keep it on the steering box. This thing is splined here and it's a press fit. So I'm going to try to remove it from here, keep the links on there, get them blasted, and then remove them after they're blasted. There's no reason to go through them right now with all the grime and the grease, and just let the blaster take care of all of that. That way you get it back and it's a nice clean canvas. Shocks are removed, as you see there, just from the bottom, and then we just cut the brake hose. But not too bad if you know what you're doing. We put a little movie magic on it and it looked like it only took us about 2 minutes, but in all probably 15 to 20 minutes for both sides. Got to be safe so the spring doesn't come back and hit you. That's something that you won't spring back from. Hey yo. All right, so the last little piece for right now, you can see we took that bracket over here off. There's two bolts. It bolts to the frame. It stabilizes that bar and gives it a place to pivot. The other portion is this over here, which is the steering box, of course. So this turns, when you turn your steering wheel left or right, this rotates and either pushes this right or it pushes it left. Because this is a hard mounted pivot, it's got to have a hard mounted pivot over there as well. So this is the center link, and then you have your two linkages over here, one attached to the frame. This one pivots, so this piece here is the same basically as this piece here. And then of course you have your tie rods there, your inner and your outer portions there. So I've already taken that off over there. This next part is this here. It's a capsule nut, doesn't have a cotter pin. The only kind of pain is there's really no tension like a spring. When you hit the spindle, the tension of the spring actually helps you push it out. This has no tension. So we're going to loosen this and we're going to see how much of a booger this is. If it gets too terribly bad, you just got to get a puller and pull it off. But we'll see how this goes. All right, so the actual bolt, the stud, I guess you'd call it, isn't spinning, which is a good point there. So I'm going to put this on there because I'm going to hammer this, see if I can get it to drop. And we're not sure if we're going to replace this part yet, so I don't want to hit any of the threads or anything like that. So I'm going to thread this back on there now that I know it comes off. Give this a couple taps here and just see if the weight of it pulls it off. If it does, great. If not, then we'll have to get a puller. Hey, 2 hits. That comes off. That's why I wanted to protect the threads in case you've been drinking a little bit too many beers and you miss and hit this and you're saving that, that's no bueno. So we're just going to pull this off now. Get hit in the face. Oh, there we go. All right. So it's now one big piece. You can see there. It sits in the truck just like that. Now you know how it's working. So that's all gone. These trucks, of course, they make the tie rod replacements. You can buy the whole thing. So that's not a big deal. We'll replace those. And then I believe they make this link as well and the other one. One's a Pitman, and I forgot what the other one's called. I always get those confused, but I'm pretty sure they make everything but this center link. I've had to go to junkyards to get the center link if it was bent or something like that. So really, I think the only piece we're going to save is this. If you put this back on the truck after all this work, you are stupid. So throw those away, right? Go buy you the whole link, even the adjuster on both sides, and be done with it. I'd really like to replace this and those as well, and I know they make those. So we'll talk to the owner and see what he wants to do. Those are as dry as a popcorn fart. You can see here, that's doing nothing. All right. So, but that's off. I got the engine mounts off. Now the shocks, I'll pull those off later to clean the frame. Now the only thing that's holding this guy on is, I believe it's 2 bolts on this side and maybe 3 up here on the inner part of the frame. You can get to them here. There's 3 here, and I want to say there's 2 here. And then this whole cross member will drop out. We'll take it to the blaster, and we got to disconnect the brake line here or rip it out with it, one or the other. But that's where we sit. So the next time, or next thing to do is the 6, 7, whatever, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts, and see if that that does us anything. Oh, I gotta get my fat ass off the ground. All right, we got the front cross member out. Take a look at this nasty thing. This is why I'm going to take it to the blaster. You can take all this apart if you want, and you can try to get in there with a wire wheel or a little brush or something like that, and you're going to spend all day doing it. And when customers pay me by the hour, I don't want to sit there all day and do it. I'd rather send this to the blaster, have it done. They can pay that fee and know that it was done right, and know that it was done way better than I could have ever done with a wire brush or anything like that. So it's not a restoration, but this needs to be cleaned up. We're putting all new components on it. and so it deserves to at least be blasted one good time, and it'll be good. We'll slap some paint on it, be good for another 50 years. Take a look at what we have here now. Now the frame is pretty much empty. We got to cut this bracket out here for the transmission. We're not going to reuse it, so we're going to cut the rivets out. There should be, I don't know, 4 or 5 rivets on each side. We'll cut that out. We'll remove the brake lines that we have running down the frame, and now we can get a wire wheel on this. This is easier. There's no real tight corners or edges that you're not going to be able to get anything to. So with that cross member out, I can get in here with a wire wheel and maybe a grinding disc or something like that, and clean all of this up on the outside, on the inside, and go to about a little bit underneath the cab. We'll strip it all down, make it look good, slap some paint on it, and then we can reinstall the cross member. One more look at this nasty thing. It's been there a while, but walk over here. We're putting all new stuff in it. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Brief recap. Went ahead and removed all the front suspension. After we pressure washed it, got as clean as we could out there. We knew we weren't going to be able to roll it out after we took all this stuff off. So we pressure washed it, got as clean as we could. Then we came back in here. We removed the wheels and tires, the springs, the spindles. We broke them apart. Left the cross member on the frame while we did that for a little bit extra stability. Once that was done, went ahead and dropped the cross member, rolled it out. So we have up here just basically a bare frame with a couple of brake lines that we just need to disconnect. The next step is to go through the frame with a wire wheel, sanding disc, and all that goodness. Clean up the frame real well, best we could do. Get it down to pretty much bare metal, and then we'll slap a nice coat of paint on it. We're going to run the cross member over to the blaster, let him blast it, get it clean as possible. Then we're going to rebuild it. New ball joints, new spindles, new shocks, new springs, new brake hoses, basically everything but the cross member itself and the control arms. Then we'll slap some paint on that and go ahead and get it back in here. So I appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe. It helps us big time. It helps us. I'm going to try to get a new camera system and a new microphone so y'all can hear me a little bit better. A couple people have sent me messages with some very good suggestions. So we're building up to that. Y'all liking it and subscribing it lets me know that y'all are interested, and it helps me be able to afford that kind of stuff. So please hit all those buttons. It does me a big favor. I appreciate it. I'm going to get cleaning. Everything's a mess, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.